Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we're shifting gears a little, moving away from the usual market analysis and diving into some quite profound wisdom literature.
That's right. The focus is squarely on, well, how to find some genuine acceptance and mindfulness. Build a tranquil mind in a world that seems almost designed for stress and overload.
Exactly. And our mission for this deep dive is, I think, very practical.
Absolutely. We're aiming to distill actionable insights, things you, the listener, can actually apply. We're looking for, let's say, non-esoteric ways to cultivate resilience. No abstract theories today.
Just practical tools for peace.
Pretty much. A shortcut, if you will, through the complexity.
And straight away, the source material gives us this core idea captured in a beautiful metaphor, kung fu sheng ri. It suggests things just cease naturally. You don't have to aggressively force them away like dust. Transformation, release, it can happen organically if we just stop. Well, stop forcing it.
And it's crucial to grasp what that organic release actually leads to. The texts say that while everything temporary, everything conditioned is always changing.
Right.
If you observe that change clearly, it opens you up to the true reality, the unconditioned.
Which sounds maybe a bit abstract, but it's not, is it?
Not at all. It's described as things we recognize immediately. Joy, balance, deep acceptance. So paradoxically, focusing on the temporary, the changing stuff, is the quickest route to seeing what's constant, that inherent tranquility within you.
Okay, let's unpack that. How do we actually embody this? The texts offer this really powerful analogy for resilient living. They call it lung thang volong mim de.
Soft front and strong back.
Exactly. Soft front, strong back. What does that mean in practice?
Well, it's just a fantastic description of someone who's both effective and deeply humane, isn't it? The soft front, the mom do.
Yeah.
That's your compassion, your acceptance, forgiveness.
It's a willingness to face things openly.
Yes. Facing difficulties, a tough meeting, a personal setback, without immediately putting up defensive walls.
Yeah.
Staying open-hearted.
And the strong back. The lungathon.
That's the core energy. Alertness, courage, stability. It's what allows you to move forward skillfully. So you're not rigid, resisting everything.
But you're not wishy-washy either.
Precisely. You're rooted in your awareness, but still flexible and compassionate towards what's happening.
That combination sounds like the key to real resilience.
It really is. All soft front, no strong back. You risk becoming passive, maybe overwhelmed.
Right.
All strong back, no soft front. You can become brittle, maybe aggressive, cut off.
So maintaining that strong back, that stability, even when the soft front feels like it's taking a hit, that's the challenge. We've all been there, right? Feeling completely tangled up, ready to just quit. Which actually brings us to this great story in the material from the psychotherapist Mark Epstein. He's on a meditation retreat, completely swamped by frustration, just spiraling.
Yes, he felt like it wasn't working, ready to walk away from the whole thing. He goes to his teacher and just pours out this torrent of complaints, listing all his struggle.
Okay, so he's expecting some complex instruction, maybe.
You'd think so. But the teacher listens very patiently, lets him finish, and then with utter simplicity just looks at him and says, slow down. Slow down.
Yeah.
And apparently that simple shift in attitude, not circumstance, changed everything for him in that moment.
Wow.
The problems didn't vanish, but his frantic reaction to them eased up. He stayed, finished the retreat. The transformation started right there.
That's fascinating. Slowing down starts it, but then how do you keep things fresh? Because life, especially work life, can feel like Groundhog Day sometimes. Same meetings, same emails.
That inevitable sense of repetition.
Yeah. How do you stop it feeling stale?
Well, this is where the concept of sutem becomes so vital. Beginner's mind. It's about trying to experience each moment as if it were new. Approaching every task, maybe even every person you interact with, or just your morning coffee.
As if for the first time.
Kinda, yeah. Without the baggage of, I've done this 1,000 times. It stops your perception getting stuck in that limited, stale view that repetition can create. Suddenly, the world isn't quite so ordinary anymore.
Moving from stale repetition to fresh engagement. That feels connected to how we actually create suffering for ourselves. The sources talk about this famous metaphor, the second arrow.
Ah, yes, the second arrow. This is incredibly useful for managing things like worry and anxiety. Emotional compounding, essentially.
So, explain the two arrows.
Okay, so the texts distinguish between two kinds of suffering. The first arrow is the unavoidable stuff. The inherent pain of life, getting sick, losing something or someone, physical discomfort. It just happens.
The price of admission, you called it. The stubbed toe of life.
Exactly. Can't avoid those entirely. But the second arrow, that's the pain we inflict on ourselves. It's our reaction to the first arrow.
Okay. Like what?
Like the fear, the worry, the self-blame, the regret, the this shouldn't be happening feeling, the resistance. The material calls this self-inflicted misery, dukkha suffering, piled on top of suffering.
And it multiplies the original pain.
It warns it can multiply it hundredfold.
Yeah, I think we all recognize that pattern. You get, say, difficult feedback at work. That's the first arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Then you spend the next day replaying it, imagining worst-case scenarios, beating yourself up. That's the second, third, fourth arrow hitting you. It's exhausting.
Totally exhausting. And the key insight here is that this second layer of pain is maintained almost entirely by the stories we tell ourselves about the event. The kuchien.
The narratives we add.
Exactly. The initial flash of anger or disappointment might be brief, but it's the story, this is unfair, I'm going to get fired, I always mess things up. That's what keeps the suffering going long after the initial event is over.
So if you can just notice the initial feeling without launching into the whole negative story.
You prevent the second arrow from even taking flight. You just experience the first arrow, which is often manageable, and then it passes.
Okay, but playing devil's advocate here. That sounds really hard when the external situation is genuinely awful. You know, stuck in a massive traffic jam, facing real financial stress, maybe relationship conflict. Don't we need to fix the outside problem?
And that's the crucial pivot the text suggests. Instead of pouring all our energy into trying to fix or avoid the external conditions, the DN.
Traffic jam, the difficult person.
Right. The focus needs to shift fundamentally. We need to look at the internal causes, the Nan.
Internal causes.
Meaning our own clinging, our fixed views, our habitual reactions. So the traffic jam is the external condition, the DN. We can't change that right now.
Yeah.
The internal cause, the Nan, might be our rigid belief that traffic shouldn't be like this, or that I personally am being unfairly delayed, or clinging to the idea that I must arrive at a specific time.
I see the difference. We fight the traffic, the condition, but the real leverage is in softening the internal cause, the clinging to how things should be.
You've got it. Our fixed ideas, our attachments, our reactivity patterns, those are the internal seeds. External conditions just trigger them. Understand and soften the cause, and the suffering naturally transforms. It gives the agency back to you.
That makes sense. Shifting focus inward. Now, let's talk about something else the sources emphasize, the miraculous nature of just ordinary life. We tend to think life is about the big milestones, don't we? Graduations, promotions, weddings.
The highlight reel moments.
Yeah. But these texts argue that real life is actually made up of much smaller, more ordinary things.
They stress this idea. Konko yilatam tunheit. Nothing is truly ordinary. If you really look, your life is composed of these simple, fleeting moments. Like waking up in the morning, seeing a friend, the path you walk on your commute, the feeling of your own breath, a drop of rain on the window, tiny things.
And if we're always chasing the next big thing?
We miss most of our actual life as it's happening right now.
Which connects directly to the practice of wise action, doesn't it? Han Dongchan-chan. If life is these ordinary moments, how should we engage with them?
Wise action is beautifully straightforward. It just means doing the one thing you're doing right now, completely, wholeheartedly, in this moment.
So when you're walking, just walk. When you're drinking tea?
Just drink tea. No aiming for a future result while you're doing it. No multitasking in your head. Just full presence in the action itself.
It's about the quality of the action now, not just the outcome later. And there's that lovely analogy about autumn leaves that explains how our perception often works.
Oh yes, that's a great one. The source explains that the brilliant colors of autumn, the reds, the golds, they're actually always in the leaf. They're inherent.
Okay.
But during summer, those colors are masked, obscured by the really strong green of the chlorophyll.
And the chlorophyll in this analogy represents what? Our busy minds.
Exactly. Our mental chatter, our constant searching, our assumptions, our plans, our summer green is so dominant, so loud.
That it hides the inherent beauty and truth that's already there.
Precisely. So we don't need to create the red and gold reality. We just need to let the strong green of our busyness and assumptions fade naturally. Then we can see the brilliant truth that was present all along. It's about allowing, not striving or forcing.
Which suggests that true action, maybe peak performance even, is paradoxically effortless. It's non-striving. This concept of Vohan, non-doing, it seems so counter to our usual push, push, push culture.
It does seem counterintuitive, but it's key. Vohan isn't about being lazy or passive. It means true mastery, true effectiveness happens without that sense of straining or efforting. It's completely present.
Like a skilled surgeon or maybe an athlete in the zone.
Exactly. They perform complex actions seemingly without effort because they're fully absorbed in the present moment, not anxiously calculating the outcome. That quiet, natural state, free from striving, is actually the foundation for deep insight and skillful living. It's peak performance through presence, not pressure.
So after exploring all this,
Yeah.
what's the bottom line? If we distill everything down, all this wisdom, what's the single most essential practice?
Well, the texts use the Buddha's famous analogy here. All the knowledge he had was like all the leaves in a vast forest.
An immense amount.
Right, but what he actually taught for practical transformation, what you really need to know to find freedom. That was just like the leaves you can hold in one hand.
Just a handful. So what's in that handful? What's the core teaching for us, the learner?
The core teaching is incredibly simple: non-clinging. Not identifying with, not grasping onto anything whatsoever as I or mine. That's the phrase. That's the essence of release. Clinging, or tam I, is what limits our reality. It traps us in fixed ideas about how things must be.
Okay, but again, respectfully, demanding non-clinging sounds like another form of striving, almost. How do you stop wanting things to go well, like wanting a good reputation or a successful project, without just becoming completely apathetic?
That's a fair question. The issue isn't the preference for things to go well. The suffering, the dukkha, arises from the clinging to a fixed outcome. The rigid demand that life must conform to our perfect pattern.
Like demanding a perfect circle when life keeps giving you squares or triangles.
Exactly. We suffer when we fight the reality of the square because we're rigidly attached to the idea of the circle. Dropping the clinging doesn't mean you stop caring or trying. It means you engage fully and skillfully with the square that's actually in front of you, rather than wasting energy lamenting that it isn't a circle.
Engaging with what is, not what we think should be.
Precisely.
And as we wrap up, there's one final metaphor the material uses that really stuck with me. It compares life to music, emphasizing the importance of silence.
Yes, the pauses. Nundolang, the silences between the notes. A great musician isn't just brilliant at playing the notes.
They're masters of the silence between the notes.
Absolutely. And those silences aren't empty or wasted, they're essential. They give the melody its meaning, its depth, its profoundness. In the same way, our busy lives need those internal pauses, that quietude, that non-striving space, to give our actions and achievements real significance.
That's a really helpful way to synthesize it all. We don't need to violently shake the tree to make the leaves fall. We just need to let the summer green fade and maybe appreciate the silence between the notes a bit more.
Beautifully put. I think the ultimate takeaway from all this profound wisdom is that real freedom, real happiness, they're fundamentally about our attitude and our conduct. They aren't dependent on achieving some special external state or condition.
We don't need to destroy or fight difficult thoughts or emotions.
No. We simply learn to accept them with kindness, with forgiveness, letting them arise and pass naturally without adding that second arrow, without forceful intervention, allowing them to return to balance.
Which brings us right back to that strong back and soft front, that resilient tenderness. So for you, our listener, perhaps a final thought to consider is this idea of equanimity. It's often described as the ability to be non-attached, to set down that clinging we talked about, but without becoming indifferent or checked out from the world. So the question might be, if life is like music and you practice letting go of just one small piece of clinging today, what pause, what moment of silence, Namdolang, will you finally allow yourself?